what just happened was this lady comes up and like gets the manager or something. I don't even remember why it came out, and she's like, I'm trying to go to the bathroom, but somebody's been in there for like 15 minutes. And I was like, okay, well, there's not really like much we can do because she's probably like going to the bathroom. Like, I can't do anything about it. Oh my god, there's the cops. Then like she waits like another 10 minutes, and then she wants one of us to go with her to the bathroom. I was like, we can't help you go in the bathroom. Like, I'm not gonna put me or my staff at risk because you keep trying to go in, like, because you have to pee. So then the lady gives up and leaves, but then I start getting curious, like, okay, who is in the bathroom? So I make like a mental note of the time. And then finally, like 10 minutes pass, I'm like, okay, let me go check the bathroom and see if it's empty. So I walk out and it says vacant. So I'm like, okay, it's fine, like nobody's in there, but let me make sure that like the bathroom isn't destroyed, because sometimes people like fucking blow it up and like shit all over the ground. So I open the door up and there's a lady sitting there like on the toilet. She's got like her pants all the way at her ankles, she has her shirt pulled up, and she's just like swaying, and she seems like very unfazed by the fact that it's like a single thing, like a single bathroom. She's like unfazed, but then I just open the door, but I'm like, oh my god, so sorry. And she's just like staring at the wall. And so I closed the door, but then I'm like, okay, so I'm now the third person in 30 minutes who's opened the door because we've all tried to go to the bathroom and it's not locked. Like, she still hasn't gotten up and locked it. So then I go inside, I'm like asking my team, like, did we see what this lady, what she looked like? And one of my baristas is like, yeah, she came in here, she was like talking to the walls, like, I don't know I don't know if she's on drugs or something. So I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? Like, I don't know. So one of the people that was sitting in the lobby, she was like, call non-emergency. So then I was like, okay, should I call non-emergency? I don't know. Do I even call the cops? I was like, do you think that's too much? And she was like, no, like, just in case. So I didn't know what to do. Like, I was like, well, I don't want to call the cops and like get her in trouble, like if she's just like, you know, shitting on the toilet. But the fact that like she came in, she was like talking to herself, she was talking to the walls, like, and then she just seemed so out of it. I was like, I feel like I need to call just like a wellness check on her. And so I called non-emergency, and then non-emergency like didn't pick up. So then I was like, okay. So then I got transferred to like, I don't know who I got transferred to, but I was like, look, this isn't an emergency. I'm just calling because like I'm concerned. There's been somebody now. At this point, she was in the bathroom for 40 minutes. Like, I'm getting nervous. You're not responding to people. Like, I don't know if she's on drugs. I don't know if she's just having an episode, like, but I think she should be like checked, you know? So then, yeah. So then we called the cops, but they weren't coming. So I was like, I'm just gonna fucking go on lunch. And then literally the second I come on lunch, the first clip is Bethany coming out to get me because the cops showed up. So the cops got here and I told them the same thing. Like, I don't think she's doing anything illegal. I'm just worried about her. Like, 40 minutes and you're just like out of it. So they get her out and she's just screaming. And then I was watching like right back here in my mirror because I came back to sit in my car, and they were like, you have to, like, you need to get off the property. And she was just staring into space, like ignoring them. I feel bad. Like, I do feel bad, but I don't know. Like, I'm like, should I have not called the cops? But also I want to make sure she was fine. Also, we need our bathroom. So yeah, that's my day.
I cannot get enough of when a Karen asks for a manager and the manager shuts them down. So yesterday, one of my cashiers was ringing up an item with a rain check. It was buy one, get one half off on some kind of cashew milk. And the cashier didn't know how to do the rain check, so I was showing her how to input it into the system. And it literally says on the rain check, like, discard after use. And the lady's like, oh, I'm gonna need that rain check back because I still have a few more days until the 30 days are expired. Now you can imagine my confusion, because where can you go where you can show a rain check, use it, and then be allowed to keep it for your next visit a week later? What is that? A rain check has always been in my entire life, like, single time use. So I tell the lady, I was like, no, unfortunately, we're going to have to take the rain check because it gets put away with our paperwork for the night, so I need it in my till. And she's like, no, the manager told me that I can use it as many times as I want for the 30 days that it's valid. And I was like, did you happen to catch the name of that manager? And she was like, no, but it's the same person who wrote me the rain check. I look at the rain check. I wrote that rain check. And I was like, yeah, so I'm Autumn. I'm one of the front-end supervisors. I never said that because that's not our rain check policy. And she's like, well, it must have been a different manager. Like, they told me that. They told me that I could use it as many times as I want for 30 days. And I was like, that's not our policy. So let me call the manager for you, okay? So I call like the lowest of the 3 store managers because that's the only one that's there. And I already know what she's going to say. So she comes up and she's like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, oh, this lady wants to hold on to her rain check and was told that a manager said she could use it and keep the rain check. And she gives me the look like, what? So she goes up to the lady and she explains to her like, yeah, this rain check is one-time use only. So no. And the lady just kept arguing with her and was like, oh, well, then a different manager told me that I could. And she had to explain to her like, no, our policy is that you have 30 days to use the rain check. But once you use it, you get rid of it. It's gone. Goodbye. So then my manager's like, oh, well, I can issue you a new rain check for the current sale price, but you can't use the same one. And then she's like, okay, yeah, we'll just do that, I guess, whatever. And then she looks at the rain check and she's like, oh, it doesn't say buy one, get one half off. And my manager's like, yeah, that's for the current sale price. The rain check is for the current sale price because you already used the rain check that you had. And the lady was like, well, I'm going to call and complain to the store manager because this is ridiculous. I should be able to use the rain check as many times as I want for the whole month. And the kicker is my manager looks at the rain check and she's like, this rain check actually expired 3 days ago. So we were kind enough to still honor it for you. So even if we were doing what you asked, the rain check would have met its 30-day limit. Gotta love it.
So I work in a fine dining Italian restaurant and I had a tent top come in. Okay, great. I love parties. You make a lot of money with the parties anyway, so I wasn't pressed. So the table sits down. I start my greet and everything, and immediately they cut me off and they're like, we're ready to order. Okay. Not like my name or, anything about the new menu items wasn't important. So, okay, babe, we'll go with what you want. Let me guess, you want a Diet Coke? Of course she wanted a Diet Coke. Mind you, I had another 8 top, along with this 10 top, a 4 top, and another 4 top as well. So it was a little hectic. And these people had absolutely no patience whatsoever. I had to get bread for another table and a few other things. So I was kind of going around, just making sure everybody got what they needed. This man at the table was like, are you done serving other tables so we can put in our food order? Babe, now I'm just going to take even longer. I said, give me a few moments and I'll be right with you. He was like, whatever. So their food took a little while to come out because it was a large order and, seafood needs to be cooked properly. And let me just say that 50% of the table ordered seafood. So stay with me. All the food finally comes out after maybe 25 minutes. So they were extremely impatient about that. But so 25 minutes, the food comes out and they're eating the food. I check on it and they're like, yeah, everything's great. Okay, cool. I come back in another 15 minutes, see if they need refills or anything. I would say 5 people raised their hands and said, we don't like our food. This is nasty. Can you take it back? Or there was something wrong with the salad, or they were just picking everything apart. And actually, I saw one of the ladies take a piece of hair from her head and put it in her dish. Did you think you were slick? No, babe. But in accordance to the customer's always right, it was time for their checks, and the lady was like, thank you, you did a good job. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I didn't say the whatever, but I was like, okay. So I got them the checks, and I had to separate everything that needed to be comped. There was $111 in comps. And as I said, most of those dishes were seafood dishes. So the restaurant lost $111. They didn't tip on what would have been a $470 bill, but wasn't anymore. So yeah. And they were like, have a good night, whatever. I didn't even respond. If you know that you're going to go out and be an awful person, just don't go out point blank. I don't need that. You most certainly don't need to be acting like that out in public either. So yeah. Hope you enjoyed my story time.
This is the only time that I've ever cried at work, and still to this day, I do not know how things escalated to the point that they did. So I was a server at Topgolf, and this day happened to be a really busy Saturday. I'm talking there was no time to think, only time to just do. I get sat with this double bay of 12 people, and they get there, and we're honestly having a really good time. Introduce myself, they're cracking jokes, specifically the dad, he's really chill. So they selected the hour option, and they were trying to get me to golf with them and the whole 9 yards. I asked if they wanted to order anything. They said they did, but they needed more time. I said, no problem, I'll come back in a couple minutes. I came back in a couple minutes, they weren't ready. Then I came back again, and they still weren't ready at this point. So I tell them, hey, honestly, I'm gonna be right around you guys. I'll be right in my section. When you guys are ready to order, just call me over. They call me over 10 minutes later and they're ready to order drinks. One of the tables had 9 adults at it, and then the other table was 3 teenage boys. The adult table gets a bunch of cocktails, and then the kids just get their soft drinks. At the time they placed the order for the drinks, they had 45 minutes left, which at Topgolf, the 45-minute mark is our last call for food, the last time we can put food in the system. I typically didn't follow that rule, but we were slammed that day and the kitchen was short-staffed, so I knew that there was no way I was going to put in food 30 minutes before their time was up because I knew it wasn't going to come out in time. I tell them about the 45-minute last call thing. They didn't seem seem too concerned about it. They didn't really seem to care. And I was like, okay, like maybe they're not ordering food and they just want drinks. At the 30-minute mark, they call me over. They want another round of drinks. They don't say anything about the food, so I'm just assuming they don't want food. Then they have 15 minutes left, and at the 15-minute mark at Topgolf is when we have to close our bays out and give them the check. So I go in the bay. Mind you, this entire time we've been having a great time. We're cracking jokes. Like, me and the dad are really going at it. I ask them if they want to close out. They say no, we want to order food now. And so I remind them, hey, you guys have 15 minutes left. I told you at the 45-minute mark you guys can't order food. They said that they wanted to extend 30 minutes, so then they were at the 45-minute mark, and I was like, okay, perfect. Like, I'll take your food order and we'll get your food in. The adult table orders so much food. I'm pretty sure every single person ordered an individual appetizer and an individual entree, and then they got a couple of desserts to share with the table. And the kids table ordered 2 appetizers, and that was it. I put the food in, and I'm low-key geeked because I'm like, dang, I'm about to make hella money because I'm having really good rapport at this table, and they had a $600 tab. So I made sure to be right by that bay the entire time because I was like, no way am I gonna mess up my tip. So I was super attentive, super on top of it the entire time. Like I said, the kitchen was super backed up, so their food didn't come out until there was like 17 minutes left on the timer. The food comes out, and I helped the food runner serve it to the table. So I checked in with everyone, making sure all their food came out good, everything was looking okay. Mind you, the dad was in the bathroom at the time the food was dropped off, and he was kind of the leader of the whole group, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna let them enjoy their food for a little bit, and then I'm gonna come back with 10 minutes left saying that they need to close the checkout. I'm right by their table when I see the dad coming back from the bathroom, and I don't know what happened in the bathroom. I don't know what went down in the bathroom, but the dad comes out with crazy eyes. He looks like he's ready to punch someone, ready to throw hands. I don't know what was going on because he was in such a good mood the entire time. He gets to the bay, and then I go over to him asking if everything came out okay and if it's okay if I close out the check. All of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but this man started berating me out of nowhere. Started yelling at me in front of all the adults in the adult bay, saying, my son didn't get his food. My son is over there starving, and all you can seem to care about is closing out our check. I asked if he wanted to extend the time, then that got him more mad. He was like, I don't want to extend the time. My son's starving over there because you messed up his order. Mind you, I knew that table had only ordered 2 appetizers. Also, the son was like 16. He was literally chilling over there, sipping his Diet Coke, having a good time, golfing with his friends. You're out here being like, my poor baby is starving. He is grown enough to order his own food. But this man is full on berating me in front of everyone. And all the tables are on the other tables that I was serving were looking at me. Everyone was looking at me, and I didn't know what was going on. I don't know what happened. While he's berating me, his wife that's right next to me is like, you didn't bring us our honey mustard. I can't eat until you bring us our honey mustard. And then her friend that's sitting next to her was like, yeah, like, I need honey mustard. The entire table is now asking for honey mustard and another round of drinks. And I was like, I literally asked you 10 minutes ago, like 5 minutes ago. I asked you 5 minutes ago if everything was okay, and nobody said a thing. So why are you acting like I forgot something when you forgot to bring it up? Also, your husband is literally currently yelling at me, and all you can think about is, how haven't you had time to get my honey mustard? When would I have time to get the honey mustard? What are we talking about? I'm holding back tears at this point because I'm so caught off guard in this film. I'm profusely apologizing. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'll like get the burger and everything. We can get it comped off. Like, I'll have it come out like right away. But I need to close out the check because again, we were slammed, and I knew as soon as their time ended, I was gonna get sat with another bay. And he's yelling at me. He's like, you know what? I want to talk to your GM. Give me your GM's contact information. I need to report you for such terrible service. Blah 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 blah. Now that really got me because my GM did not like me. She hated women. I'm not gonna lie, and I knew that I had never interacted with this woman, but from what I was told, she did not like girls, and I knew she was gonna fire me if she found any sort of reason to. So I'm really stressed out because I'm like, what is he even gonna say to her? Because I don't even know what happened. So I go to my manager asking for the GM's contact information, and he can see that I'm like about to cry, like I'm about to break down. I tell him what's going on, so he goes over to the bay and starts trying to talk to the guy. I go to the kitchen to see if I can get this kid's burger. I come back with the burger, and there's like 3 or 4 managers all talking to this man, and he's just like yelling. He's going off. I bring the burger to the son, and I drop it off, and the son was like, I didn't order this. I told him that his dad was literally yelling at me because of it, and he's like, no, we haven't even talked this whole time. I don't know what you're talking about. And he was low-key rude about it too. I was like, dude, this entire fiasco is happening because you like didn't get food. So I hesitantly walk up to the dad because I'm like, I want to make sure at least I'm giving it to the right person, but to also let him know that his son didn't order this. So I was like, yeah, your son's the one right over there, right? He starts yelling at me. He yells over across his son. He's like, yo, did you like not order that? I thought you were gonna order food. The son was like, no, I literally told you beforehand that I didn't want to order food because I'm not hungry. And then he was like, the dad was like, oh, okay. Doesn't apologize to me, like nothing. Time has run out at this point, and the managers had to call the guest services to tell them to not seat my section. They're not even done with their food. The managers are telling them that they need to get out of the bay because this bay is about to be sat again, and that they need to be closed out. So then they come over to me saying they want to close out, but they want to do an itemized split. Yeah, no. I literally was like about to, like, the tears were about to spill over at this point. And eventually one of the ladies was like, you know what, let's just do an even split. I hand out the checks, the dad's in front of me filling it out, and he was like, this is the worst service ever. Like, this is the worst experience I've ever had. And I just am profusely apologizing. I'm like, I'm so sorry that like you haven't been having a good time. Each of their checks was $200. The dad, I thought was gonna tip me nothing, still tipped me $30. Then the other 2 people tipped me $50 each. And I was just so stressed over the whole thing that my manager was like, you know what, I'll just bust the bay. Why don't you go in the back and just take a breather? I go to the back, I start sobbing. After a couple minutes, I collect myself. I go back out there because I still have other tables, mind you. Two ladies from before, the wife and the friend, come up to me and they're apologizing to me. They're like, I'm so sorry, like I don't know what happened, and then they hand me $100 bill. So that like low-key dried up the tears real quick. But yeah, to this day I don't know honestly like what was going through that man's mind or like what even happened, but he never reported it to the GM, and I still made $230 off that table. So low-key still a win in the end.